All right, what's going on, everybody? My name is Peter Del Tondo, and I'm your host for the daily creative challenges this week here in Adobe XD. We've got a super fun challenge today. The new Disney Plus app is coming out, or new Disney Plus service is coming out. And I know I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 6-month-old, and we're probably just going to live on this thing for a little bit. So we thought it would be really fun. One of my teammates and I, Evan, worked together to come up with an application, just a concept of what we could see the Disney Plus app kind of looking like and having some fun with it. And so we're going to prototype that out today, and we're going to show you guys how to leverage all the cool effects and auto animate and whatnot here in Adobe XD and help bring an app like this to life. So hopefully you guys will have a lot of fun with this challenge. It's hard not to like something from Disney, so I hope there's something there for everybody, or you can mix it up and do something a little bit similar. But I think this would just be super, super cool. So without further ado, let's see who we've got here today. We've got Jack, Marcella, Agatha, Stone, Amanda. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's jump in and start playing around and see what we can do. If you have not yet joined the Discord community, make sure you do that. You can get the link right here, bit.ly/XD Discord, and come join and be part of the conversation. When you come over here to Discord, this feedback area here for current challenge is really the best place to be. Make sure you introduce yourself in chat, check out some of the channels like Pro Tips and Get Inspired, but this is really where we're going to live in terms of getting and giving feedback on your projects. So make sure you come in here. I'm doing video reviews for people. We've got, again, just because she's here every day, folks like Agatha that are members of the community and giving great feedback. It's so fantastic to see you guys get involved here. And let's check out if you still need to sign up. These are daily challenges. Each one, they're not necessarily progressive. You can take these challenges further, but they're meant to be done in about 30 to 90 minutes each day. And you can get set up there with the link from Tim, behance.net/challenge/XD. And in there, you can download the starter file for each day and watch the video, whether that's live or on a replay afterwards. So make sure that you check that out as well. And today we're going to be doing prototyping. We've got one more challenge tomorrow, and then come back on Monday, join me. We're going to be doing a progressive challenge through next week. And I actually have to do some research for that challenge actually tonight. So follow me at Peter Del Tondo on Twitter. You'll see what's going on. But we're going to do a little research and give you guys a little hint of what we might be working on next week. So make sure to check that out too. All right, so make sure to click on chat with the community up top. That'll jump you into Discord. And let's take a look at our starter file and see what we're going to be doing. So let's zoom in here so we can all read it nicely. In celebration of the new Disney Plus app, we want to build out a mobile view of the application, just like you would have for Netflix or Hulu or something along those lines. And we want to be able to, I thought it'd be fun to have a spin, not just find something to watch, but I thought it'd be kind of cool with Disney Plus. I'm blanking on the service name, but they do, what is it, Circle or Clear or something like that, where there's kind of this holistic parental control system for your internet. So you can make sure that what your kids are viewing on the internet or watching is wholesome and safe. And so I thought it would be really cool to build something like that here into the Disney Plus app and allow a parent or approved users to see, say, a viewing history and statistics about what they're watching, set things like time limitations for a day. And this is the kind of stuff that with these challenges, I want to push you guys to be thinking about, think what you can expand on. I've thrown out some ideas, but there's so much that you can do with this project and any project. And so I want you to think outside the box and think about what cool features and functionalities that you could picture. And, that's the kind of stuff that can be really helpful and can lead to potentially work. I've done a case study project in the movie TV space before. It was just something I built out one day for fun on a Friday. And that couple of shots that I put out on the internet landed me freelance projects, contract jobs, even to be hit up by certain companies to work on something similar. So like take the time to build these out and think of something a little innovative, and you don't know what might come from that next. So the XD challenges are a great place to start for that. And brother Rob the legend, good to see you in chat, my good sir. All right, so today we're going to be talking about prototyping specifically. So we are going to be getting into really what we can do. And I know we've done a bit of prototyping along the way the last 2 weeks, but we're really going to dive in and get there in detail. So let's take a look at some inspiration. Again, with these applications, you guys have heard me preach with photo, video stuff. I'm really a big fan of that light UI, dark UI. I don't want some crazy contrasting colors. I really want to be able to focus on the content. So when I come over here, I see this, the artwork is what stands out. Same thing over here, with a dark UI, it doesn't need to be black, but like those really dark, kind of tungsten-y blues, maybe a very, very dark purple where, it's barely got a hint of that. You really want to live to the extremes of dark or light. Maybe a light gray or something. This one here does a good job of keeping it very light. The white pops off of the screen, but we're staying away from stuff that's, super colored. If any of these backgrounds were like red or green or blue, it would really contrast with things because it would potentially be, different than the artwork that we're seeing. So just something to note, I really would encourage you to stay in that realm. I think it's going to be a better product. All right. So, a couple of things here too that we look at. I want to see the ease of use to get into stuff. I think this one does it really well here where we've got our hero section, some featured things, and then I can get in, I can continue watching things, recommendations, popular categories. And I mean, this should be easy homework for everybody. You get to go hop on Netflix, hop on Hulu, just browse around. Hulu's maybe not the best example of good UX, but let's jump in and take a look at things. So I built out a couple of screens, and I'm going to show you guys how we break down this prototype. We're going to also modify a few of these screens to do some enhanced features. But first, let's take a look at what we've built, why we've built those things. I want to break it down for you a little bit. So as we come over here, we've got our opening screen. We're going to showcase, The Mandalorian has been getting great reviews. That's obviously a big feature and pull for, parents and kids alike. That, I don't necessarily want to watch Frozen for the 5,000th time with my kids. Less excited about that, but I'm really excited about shows like this. If any of you are not excited about Brink, I feel really old right now, but I'm really excited to finally be able to watch that movie again and some of the old classic Disney Channel movies. We've also got some things here that should say family, where we can create these different categories and scroll things. And yeah, I'm gonna have to let it go, Howard. It's gonna happen. And we'll see how we can build that out a little bit more. Then the idea here is that if I click over to this parental settings icon, that it's going to take me over. And in this area, my thought is that we can kind of color code each person, be assigned one of these. And then I can set things in here. Like I only want to let Peter watch content on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And he can watch that content for a maximum of 2 hours. And, we could do things on the TV screen where it says after a certain period of time, warning, you've got 10 minutes left, whatever. Max content rating. So as an adult, I could watch things that are R-rated, whereas my daughter here, I don't want her watching things beyond, say, PG. And then we can break down. And again, this is where flex some creative muscle, think outside the box. But I wanted to go through and say, hey, what types of things are my kids watching or my family watching? Is it documentaries, comedy, action movies, horror movies, drama? And I can get a sense, and I might say that there's maybe even categories I don't want them watching, or I just want to be aware of it. Kids also are very reactive with behavior and the things that they watch. And I know my daughter got super sassy after watching Frozen a couple times. So Frozen disappeared for a year. And so, they might want to analyze this and see, like, is there a behavioral tie to things? So As a parent, these are things that I think would be cool and we can play around with a little bit. Then down here, I can also take a look at this and say, what have they watched recently? So I can see they watched this particular episode of The Mandalorian, what it's rated, the different things that are on here. And, from that, I might want to be able to, like, say, block them from watching that again. So we can learn from the behaviors and whatnot. And there's so much more that we could build with this, but right now let's showcase how I've connected some of these screens and how I want them to interact and work. And then we can do some other additional prototyping and animations along the way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch over from design into prototype mode. And when I click a screen, it's actually going to show me all the different places that the screen is linking out to. So I can see that my parental icon is going to take me over here. And I want this to be a transition. It's nice and smooth. It's just going to take me into this screen. And it would probably go to a screen like this first. This is something we were playing with where I can add a family member. I can also see, for example, what who's here. So I get like abbreviations. Maybe these are avatars later. But we could do something like that. But for now, we're just going to have that go to this direct screen so we can show you guys some stuff. And then when I come over onto this screen, I want my back icon to take me back. I want to do some cool things where maybe I can change the limitations. I can add a day. When I come over here, I might want to say, hey, I don't want Peter to watch The Mandalorian. I could then set up an overlay and have that be something that's either ignored or I could block it so that they can no longer watch that. And then I can also cycle through. I can go from Peter's board over to Thea's, and I come back over here. And again, I get to see all those different transitions that I have set. So let's take a quick look at it, and then let's add a couple of cool prototypes or prototyping animations and sequences to this. So we'll show some behind the scenes of that. So here I can go through, I'm going to click on this. That nicely transitions me over. I can scroll through here, see different items. I'm going to come down, I'll click on The Mandalorian. We see that overlay now. And here I can select ignore or block. It's now been added to my block list. And so now I can control, what people are allowed to see or not. So really, really cool and handy feature as a parent. That takes me back. I can switch over here to Thea, and we quickly see all the nice transitions that Auto Animate is doing to make all of this look nice and seamless. And remember, as we talked about in the Auto Animate lesson, I think that was like day 2 or 3, that you want your naming layers to be consistent from screen to screen, and it'll do those really cool Auto Animate sequences. So let's add a couple of things here. I think one thing that would be really neat to do is if I can scroll through these different items. So one that I'm going to do really easily is I'm just going to bring this down a little bit, and I'll make this longer. And so that way we have a little bit of scroll room on this screen. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this group of items and I'm going to move it. We'll just go to about here. Okay. And there's probably like 1 or 2 more that we could, add in addition. And then let's do another screen here. Oops. And we're going to move this one over. We can just do something like that. Move this over a tab more. All right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to prototype, and I'm going to click and go to this screen here. And I'm going to change this trigger from a tap to a drag. We can do auto animate. That's totally good. I don't need to worry about easing. I want this to feel quick and responsive. And then I'm going to move this one here. And we're going to go back to this screen, drag, auto animate. Perfect. Then again, this is so easy to do, guys. And this is why XD is just so fantastic to prototype out these ideas, be able to bring a design to life and not just, like, you could see how boring this is to just look at it. But once you get to start to interact with something, that's where it feels really, really cool. So I'm going to come here, go to drag. Perfect. and it's going to remember the settings that I had last time. So I don't need to go in and change tap to drag at every single moment. It's going to do that automatically. And so now what I can do is I'll come in here to my prototype mode again. Let's go over here so it's a little bit cleaner. All right, and now we can take a look at that. And now what I can do is, as I click and hold, or if you're on the mobile mirror app, you can also tap this and just experience it like it was a mobile app. And I can quickly go through, and now if I added like 6 more items here, I could set different scroll points. I could click into this particular item, or I can go back to the start. Whoops, that one got locked somehow. We'll have to fix that real quick. Oh, let's change that. So that should not have a fixed position when scrolling. Okay, cool. We got that fixed. All right, we'll do that one more time. So now I can scroll this way, I can tap and drag it back, I can scroll down, and once again, I can scroll through here. So you guys can create this like super immersive experience into the application and allow, whether it be your internal team, your client, or whatnot, to be able to experience this like it's a developed application or really close to. And there's going to be limitations to some things, but overall, this is going to really help you get to where you need to go in order to bring those designs to life. And it is so much easier to have something like this and be able to show a client, like, here's what it looks like when you tap and scroll, versus trying to explain it to somebody. And if they've never experienced something like what you might be trying to simulate, it can be a really tough sell to get them to understand the concept and picture it. You know, clients, it's why they hire us to problem solve, and whether it be a brand or a website or an application, we need to figure out what that solution is and help them see it and bring that to life. They can't just picture it based off of a description or maybe even something somewhat static. You know, it's why doing mock-ups, for example, helps you sell your branding and logo concept to a client. When they get to see what that would look like in real life, all of a sudden it becomes, you know, so much more real for them. So the same thing really applies here, and we can do a lot of cool things too. So we could do more drag animations if we wanted to. We can also, like, really quickly, we've got about 4 minutes for me to build out a screen. Let's try to make that happen. Maybe if I come in here, we want to do a screen for The Mandalorian. And so we could do something like this where, let's see, where am I? Let's do Mandalorian IMDb. And I'm just going to really quickly like grab some information about this. And you guys will see how quickly we can put something together here. So we've got some information. Let's grab this. All right, let's bring this down a little bit. We'll go 16 regular. And let's see. All right, and so we could say like description. And I'm just going to cheat for the moment. I'm just going to bring this. Oh, where did we go? I'm just going to do this with an opacity. This is bad. Don't do this. But we're quick and I'm pressed for time. So I'm just going to cheat that a little bit. All right, so we could do something like description. Then I might want to do something here that's say cast. And really quickly, let's leverage some plugins. So we've done some cool stuff with plugins over the week. So let's do that here. And let's just do repeat grid. I'm going to spill that off the page. I'm going to ungroup it. And my spacing's off, forgive me. But let's grab all of these items. I should be able to space these better. Okay, and now we're going to come to plugins. We can do the UI faces, and I can even pick IMDb, so this should hopefully give me actual celebrities, and let's apply those. Okay, great. And actually nope, that's not her. I thought that was, I forget the actress, but from Game of Thrones. I thought it was going to be somebody who might have actually been in Star Wars. So none of these people, but at least we've got Vanellope von Schweetz in here. So we're 1 for 6 on the Disney front. But let's go in. We've now got our cast members that we could go in and see some stuff there. Maybe I want to do a gallery about it, or like news or media. In this case, we'd probably do like episodes. So we'll come down here, we'll do our episodes, and I'm just going to really quickly build out. Maybe let's do something like this. I'm going to grab this, and we'll just do the final frontier. I don't know enough about the show to make sure that I'm accurate in this information, so hopefully you guys will forgive me for being a little off. And then we'll do here maybe like air date, I don't know, 10, or let's say 11, 17, 19. And then we could do something here where we've got runtime, 1 hour, 3 minutes. All right, so we've got something there. I would do more stuff with the typography to have, these things stand out a little bit more and a little differentiation. Maybe this is the full white, etc. I'm gonna come in and let's do one more photo here with Photo Splash, and we'll just, I'm sure Star Wars will give us something. Do some flex with Vader, that works. Ooh, this one's kind of cool. Let's go with that. All right, so we've got that. I can now grab these items. I'm gonna do, actually, let's do a repeat grid. I'm gonna bring that down. We'll just go down to here, and we can make sure everything's padded nicely. We'll ungroup that, and I can now come in, and we'll pick some more items. So we'll do our Vader flex, some cool astrophotography, Boba Fett, because we have to, and let's do BB-8. All right, so I've now quickly added all of these episodes. I could probably also put like a playhead maybe on top of these. That's something I would go in and change out the content of these as well. I don't want to use like lorem ipsum. I don't want it to be consistent, but I want it to be different. And yeah, Evan, great idea. So maybe this takes over the top section. So maybe we pull this up. This kind of expands. And I know this is going to look weird because this is going to cut off. We would need a better image, so forgive me, but I want to make sure that he's still in the frame. And I want to show you guys what that animation sequence looks like. And then let's grab a back arrow and pull that over here as well. And I might want to put like a gradient up top here too, so some of this is a little bit more visible. But we're getting the basics of this down. So now what I want to do is I'm going to come over here to my first screen. I'm going to go back to prototype. I'm going to bring this over, and I want to do a tap, and I'm going to do auto animate. And I tend to like my transitions a little longer, so we'll bump that up a minute. And again, let's go into play. Let's take a look at that now. And you see how, again, I know it cuts off the text, but it grows let's actually link that back button so we can quickly go back and forth. And so now, when I click on that, it has a nice transition. It brings in the rest of this information. I could set the cast to scroll. I could scroll down between more episodes. And again, you guys get to quickly see how fast we're able to build and prototype an application like this and now have this feel real. I can go from this experience into my parental settings, go in here. Again, maybe the first episode was really raw and kind of hard, and I don't want my kids to see that. I can block that show and I can come back out. I can switch into another member of the family, change their configurations for what they're allowed to watch. So really, really cool. And as Agata said, yeah, make sure you name everything really accurately. It's really easy to just kind of on the fly, rectangle 1, rectangle 2, but try to have that information. Take a moment, stop, name things correctly, group your layers, and that'll make everything a lot easier. But hopefully that gets you guys some great information to get started and start building out your prototype today. So really excited to see what you guys do, whether you keep with the Disney Plus theme or something else. And make sure to tune in for our final challenge tomorrow. We'll be back here again at 11:30 Pacific Daylight Time. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you soon.